Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Monday, January 29th, basketball slate. We've got a couple college games and a big slate in the NBA. So we'll get going into everything there. Decent day yesterday, profitable on the basketball side. And then we had a monster on Saturday. So we continue the trend here. Let's go make some money. So we're going to get the two college games out of the way first. We like two dogs here. So Virginia Tech at home, taking on Duke. 3 to 3.5 is kind of where the line's been. 146.5 total. We do like Virginia Tech at home here. Duke has been, well, they barely get by Clemson at home. They've been a struggle, I think, all season long. They just can't seem to figure out necessarily how to put points up when they need points, where Duke teams in the past have been able to pull away because they can outscore you. This team definitely struggles on the offensive end. So we'll take Virginia Tech plus 1.5 first half, plus 3 for the game. Virginia Tech plus 1.5 first half, plus 3 for the game. Next game up for us is going to be Texas at Houston, the Big 12 on Monday night. Last game of the day, basically last game of the night for college. Houston, 4.5, 5-point favorite going into Austin. Houston's played pretty well. They played well against BYU. I was kind of, and then they put out a show offensively on Saturday. I just don't know if they can, we don't think they're going to continue the streak. Houston's a really good team. I think defensively they cause problems. The problem they normally have in the tournament is they just don't have enough scoring. You can have the best defense in the world, but you're not going to hold anybody to zero. So you have to have guys that can fill it up. Just like Kansas struggles this season with have guys that can put the ball in the damn basket and score. So same thing here. We are going to take Texas here. They are a home dog. We do like Texas plus 2.5 first half and plus 5 for the game. One more time, Texas plus 2.5 first half, plus 5 for the game. We'll get into the NBA slate. First couple of games going off here. First one up, Knicks at the Hornets. Knicks somewhere around 9-10 point favorite, 221.5. Don't think Julius Randle's, I think he's already ruled out with the shoulder. Don't know what the hell's going on with the rotations for the Hornets. And until we can see like 2 games in a row of what's actually going to go on and what they're going to do with Melo and Brandon Miller, I don't know if there's really any reason to play anybody on there. We do like the Knicks. They've been hot. They punish the weak teams in the NBA, and not only when they punish them, they cover. We expect the same here. I will say this, though. We were going through prop bets to see what's available. OG Anunoby, normally 14 to 15 point prop bet. All of a sudden at 18. Jalen Brunson, normally at 26, 27, normally at 31. So a couple things we're going to stay away from there. We are going to play the Knicks, minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 5 first half, minus 9.5 for the game. And then Brunson under 43.5 par. That's been his biggest number by 5 all season long. I've not seen it above 38.5. So we'll stick away from this as well, and we'll just take the under there. It just wasn't a lot of value on anything else. Anunoby normally hits 1 to 2 threes a game. All of a sudden it's like minus 170 to hit 2 threes. I mean, I know it's the Hornets, but like really all of a sudden every player offensively is going to have a monster? Come on. I understand that, Julius Randle's going out. It doesn't mean everybody else is going to score. Brunson stirs that drink, but this could be one of those nights where they get ahead early and then everybody sits in the fourth quarter anyway. So one more time, Knicks minus 2.5 first quarter, minus 5 first half, minus 9.5 for the game, and Brunson under 43.5 par for that Knicks-Hornets matchup. Next game, Clippers-Cavs. Clippers come off a huge win at Boston, absolutely destroyed them. Made Boston basically sit all their players midway through the third quarter and on. Clippers 1.5 point favorite on the road at Cleveland. Cleveland's been tough. They create some size matchup problems for the Clippers as well. They're a lot bigger than the Clippers. The Lakers kind of took advantage of that the last time. The Lakers much bigger than the Clippers as well. We like the Cavs here. To be really honest, I'm surprised it's still 1.5. I thought it'd be more of a pick game, but we do like the Cavs plus a half first quarter, plus a half first half, plus 1.5 for the game. James Harden's turnovers back down to 2.5 and only minus 105, so we're going to hammer the hell out of that. Jarrett Allen over 1.5 blocks and over 11.5 rebounds as well. The Jarrett Allen points, not sure with Evan Mobley supposedly being available again tonight. I think Jared Allen still gets his rebounds. I don't know if he's going to get his point total. It should be interesting to see what happens with Mobley coming back tonight with that as well. So we're trying to keep that in mind and not go a little crazy with him. So one more time in this Cavs-Clippers game, Cavs plus a half first quarter, plus a half first half, plus 1.5 for the game. Harden over 2.5 turnovers, Jared Allen over 1.5 blocks, and over 11.5 rebounds. Next game up, the most confusing team in the league. Unfortunately, they play right here in Phoenix. Phoenix Suns at the Heat. Heat, who have lost 7 in a row and have looked like absolute dog doo-doo, are a 3-point favorite to this supposedly high-powered team that can't figure out how to score more than 20 points in the fourth quarter. Last night, coming off a back-to-back, was an embarrassment for the Suns. 13 points in the fourth quarter. Another game where you have an 11-point lead in the fourth quarter and you can't close. Not only that, you got beat by 13. So a 24-point swing in the fourth. That's just unacceptable. I don't know what to think. The book is begging you to take Phoenix here. I mean, all the books, the Suns getting 3 points, and Miami has stunk up as bad as they have lately. So what we'll do in this one is we're going to roll with the way that the book doesn't want you to bet, and that's going to be taking the Heat. So, I mean, matchup-wise, what can I tell you? The Suns are, they've got Booker, they've got Durant, they got Beal. Jokic has been hurt. Beal's been hurt again. I don't know if he broke his nose or not, but messed it up the other night. I mean, it's been Booker scored 62 and 44 in the last 2 games, and they lost both of them on this road trip. I don't expect anything really better to come part of this. They're hitting, I believe it's, let's see, we're at, they played the Peyton. So third game in 4 nights on the road, third city in 4 nights as well. I just think it's the Heat here situationally as well. So Heat minus a half first quarter, minus 1.5 first half, minus 3 for the game. Booker and Durant both over 2.5 turnovers, and Bam Adebayo over 10.5 rebounds. I honestly think this game could be 97-90. I mean, this could be one of those bad defensive NBA games that we see that nobody can make anything, or a lot of turnovers. It's a high-scoring game. So we're going to stay away from the point totals, things of that nature. We'll just deal with some of the defense and rebounds, a little bit more consistent. So one more time in this Heat-Suns matchup, Heat minus a half first quarter, minus 1.5 first half, minus 3 for the game. Booker and Durant over 2.5 turnovers. Adebayo over 10.5 rebounds. Then we get into a couple more games at the 5:40 time slot, so 7:40 East. Pelicans at the Celtics. Pelicans getting 9 on the road in Boston, 236.5. The Celtics have lost 2 consecutive home games after going 20-0. What do you make of this Celtics team? What do you make of this Pelicans team? A lot of similarities in that either they blow somebody out or get blown out. It's real hard when that happens and they're not playing a lot of close games. Sometimes hard to get a little bit of a read on what's going on. So inconsistent. I mean, Boston's obviously been a little bit more inconsistent in a good way as they have a lot more blowouts than getting blown out. But the Pelicans have also got a pretty good record as well. So 9's a bunch, and that 236 is to me is about what it sounds like. 120, 16, 124, 114, somewhere around there. I mean, it's just right around, I think it's right around the total, right around the number on that one. We'll take a couple player props. We're in this game. We like Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points, over 2.5 threes, over 32.5 par. We also like CJ McCollum for over 1.5 turnovers as well. So one more time in the Celtics-Pelicans matchup. Like I said, a game we'd love to be all over, but unfortunately, just not a lot of value. His teams have been really inconsistent. So Jaylen Brown over 23.5 points, over 2.5 threes, over 32.5 par, and then also over 1.5 turnovers. One of the games we're heavily invested on in the next game is going to be the Jazz. They have still played really well, and they tend to beat up on the teams that are maybe at them or a little beneath them and then struggle with the higher-end teams. But they've been scoring at will. Markkanen and Sexton really seem to have something worked out there. Jazz right around either a 1-point favorite or pick 'em, depending on what book you're at. 235.5 total. But we like the Jazz here. We're going to take the Jazz money line first quarter. Jazz minus a half first half, minus 1 for the game. Lauri Markkanen over 24.5 points, over 3.5 threes. We're also going to sprinkle a little bit on Markkanen 5+ 3-pointers made. And then marketing over 35.5 par. And then the Jazz over the 118.5 team total. We really like that. I think they're good for easy 120 tonight on that one. So marketing, Jazz money line first quarter -0.5, first half -1 for the game. Marketing over 24.5 points, over 3.5 threes. We'll also take a little bit of long shot there at 5 plus threes, over 35.5 par. Sexton over 20.5 points. And then the Jazz over the 118.5 team total. Next game up we're going to be on is going to be the Kings and the Grizzlies. Kings currently 9.5, 10-point favorite, 223.5 total. The Grizzlies obviously have trouble scoring. The Kings not necessarily known for their defense, but they can have trouble scoring on the road. Normally never do at home, and they always tend to struggle scoring against maybe the lesser competition. They play up and play down depending on the competition a little bit. So we're going to take the under in this matchup. So we do like Kings Grizzlies under 57.5 first quarter, under 115 first half, under 223.5 for the game. Jaren Jackson under 26.5 points. De'Aaron Fox under 26.5 points. Jaren Jackson under 1.5 threes, under 35.5 par, and over 3.5 turnovers. So one more time in this Kings-Grizzlies matchup, Kings-Grizzlies under 57.5 first quarter, under 115 first half, under 223.5 for the game. Jaren Jackson under 26.5 points, under 1.5 threes, under 35.5 par, over 3.5 turnovers, and De'Aaron Fox under 26.5 points. As he still hasn't he's hit over his prop total maybe 3 or 4 times out of the last 15. So we continue to kind of monitor that, and we'll hit his under. But he's went over a couple times, like I said, about 3, 4, 5, maybe a third of his times. But I'll take a bet every day. We're cashing 67% of the time, that's for sure. Next game up, Lakers at the Rockets. This game's been anywhere from 1.5 point. I think it's at a point now. Lakers have taken the 2 out of 3 from the Rockets. The 2 games that they won were both at home, extremely close. When they went to Houston the last time, they got the doors blown off of them. We really like the value here. I think the Lakers struggle on the road. They don't have a great record overall either. The Rockets play extremely well at home, especially defensively. Seem to cause a lot of problems, cause a lot of turnovers. So we're going to roll with the Rockets here. Money line first quarter, money line first half, money line for the game. Van Vliet and Green, we're going over their point totals. Normally, Sengun's, I think he's going to be right around the number, but him and AD will play a lot against each other. But I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for the guards to score. So Jalen Green over 19.5 points, Van Vliet over 16.5 points, Van Vliet and Green over 2.5 three-pointers made in that one. And LeBron over 3.5 turnovers, and Anthony Davis under 40.5 par. He's just been on a little bit. He's been off just a little bit. He's not putting up, 28, 14, and 4 like he has been. It's been more of a 24, 10, and 3, right? So he's been around that 37 number par-wise when he was 40, punching 46 so earlier in the season. So we will take that under 40.5 par. So one more time, that Rockets-Lakers matchup. Rockets money line first quarter, first half in game. Van Vliet over 16.5 points. Green over 19.5 points. Van Vliet and Green over 2.5 three-pointers made. Anthony Davis under 40.5 par, and LeBron over 3.5 turnovers. Like I said, that defense for the Rockets tends to get ratcheted up at home. Next game up, Thunder, T-Wolves. Another great matchup of 2 of the top of the Western teams. The Thunder won the last matchup in Minnesota. Thunder coming off. Had a little bit of a run here. Played in Detroit yesterday and played like dog doo-doo. I don't know if it was more, just the Pistons hit everything. They got hugely surprised. But the Thunder are 2.5 point favorite tonight, 224.5. These are normally some battles here. So we're going to stay away from total and the game and the side on this one. We got a few player props we're going to play in this one. SGA over 1.5 three-pointers. It's plus 200 on FanDuel for 2 plus 3-pointers made. He had hit that number 3 games in a row till yesterday against the Pistons. So now it's back up to plus 200 instead of dropping down to plus 140, which was yesterday. Gobert over 14.5 points. Holmgren over 7.5 rebounds. And SGA over 1.5 steals again, and then Anthony Edwards over 3.5 turnovers. So we're seeing some turnovers, some defense, some rebounds, points. You know, a little bit of this and that and the other in this one. But SGA over 1.5 threes, over 1.5 steals. Rudy Gobert over 14.5 points. Holmgren over 7.5 rebounds. Anthony Edwards over 3.5 turnovers. Next game up we're going to be on is going to be Spurs-Wizards. Spurs 4-point favorite currently at home against the Wizards. Spurs have been favored 4 times so far this season. They are 4-0 straight up and 4-0 against the spread. We're going to ride this one out as the Wizards, they can't get out of their own way most nights. The Spurs they've had some spurts where they've played really, really well, and Wemby's been a huge part of that. So we'll take the Spurs. We'll ride that trend of what every time they've been a favorite, they've covered so far this season. So Spurs -1.5 first quarter, -2 first half, -4 for the game. Wemby over 25.5 points. His point total starting to creep up and up and up in every game. But 25 is the biggest one he's had all season. But I think he's got a great shot at 30 tonight. Over 41.5 par, over 2.5 blocks. We're going to sprinkle a little bit on 5+ blocks as well. And then we'll take him over 1.5 threes. And then the same thing we've done the last few games for Wemby is we'll sprinkle a little bit on 3+ three-pointers made. He's cashed both of these the last couple games out. He's not +4 some change like he was. His odds have dropped quite a bit to +230, but I still think well worth taking that play. So one more time in this Spurs-Wizards matchup. Spurs -1.5 first quarter, -2 first half, -4 for the game. Wemby over 25.5 points, over 1.5 threes. And that was our best bet that we just put out too. Wemby 3+ threes. Wemby over 41.5 par. Wemby over 2.5 blocks. Wemby 5+ blocks. Next game up, we're going to get to Magic going to the Mavericks. The Magic get a big win yesterday. Amazingly come back from 11 points down in the fourth quarter against the Suns. Not only that, beat them by 13 and scored over 100, which has been kind of unique for them. Mavericks 4.5 point favorite, 227.5 total. It's been Luka all the time and Luka some more in Mavs games. We like the Mavs at home normally, period. You throw into the fact that the Magic are coming off of back-to-back and haven't been able to really light it up much lately. We like him even more. So Mavs -1.5 first quarter, -2.5 first half, -4.5 for the game. We did stay away from the Luka points, unfortunately, because they're at 37.5, and that's just getting a little crazy. Lively over 9.5 points. Hardaway over 17.5 points. Luka over 3.5 threes, though. We will go to that one. Luka triple-double as well, which is playing pretty good plus money. Lively over 7.5 rebounds and over 1.5 blocks. So one more time in this Mavs-Magic matchup. Say that 3 times fast. Mavs-Magic matchup. Mavs -1.5 first quarter, -2.5 first half, -4.5 for the game. Hardaway over 17.5 points. Lively over 9.5 points. Luka over 3.5 threes. Luka triple-double. Lively over 7.5 rebounds and over 1.5 blocks. Next game up, Nuggets, Bucks. Should be pretty interesting here. Nuggets have played, they always play really well at home and tend to cover at home. The Bucks, last couple games, surprisingly enough, I mean, they had a little bit of trouble there. I mean, playing the back-to-back games might make, against the same team. Those are hard. It's hard to win both of those. So, no question there. It looks like, I think Doc Rivers is going to be tonight. Is going to be there, so to be a little different to see how his rotations, or if he's going to make a stamp on it, or if he's just going to let it kind of play out and then kind of observe from there. But we like the Nuggets at home most nights. It's pretty rare when we don't. 238.5 total. I know the Bucks play piss poor defense, but the Nuggets are one of the best under teams in the NBA. So I'm not quite sure where the 238's coming from, but we're going to stick away from the side. Sounds a little trappy on that, but we do like the Nuggets. -1.5 first quarter, -2.5 first half, -4 for the game. We like Jamal Murray to get off. Normally, in the defense for the Bucks, it seems pretty good down low. It's out the perimeter defense is just god awful. So Jamal Murray over 2.5 threes and over 24.5 points. Giannis under 11.5 rebounds as he's going against one of the better rebounding teams. And then Giannis over 2.5 turnovers. That number keeps coming down. We'll take that because he's cashing a bunch at over 3.5 turnovers early in the season. So Nuggets minus 1.5 first quarter, minus 2.5 first half, minus 4 for the game. Jamal Murray over 24.5 points, over 2.5 3-pointers made. Giannis under 11.5 rebounds and over 2.5 turnovers. Last game on the board, 76ers at the Blazers. 9.5, 10-point favorite for the 76ers, 222.5. Blazers coming off a loss last night, back-to-back at home. 76ers have been really good at home and just a smudge suspect on the road. And there's a lot of game time decision stuff. So currently we do not have anything on this. So make sure at the end of the episode, you will see a link in the comments section to our Google Sheet. It's docs.google.spreadsheet and a bunch of other stuff behind it. That is linked to the ledger of all of our bets. What juice we got those at, how many units we wagered, then what book we placed them at, then obviously the result after that. So do make sure you check that out. I'm sure we'll have something on that late game of the 76ers Blazers. And as always, if you could subscribe and get notifications to our YouTube channel, we'd greatly appreciate it. It makes life really simple. Once you hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on for YouTube, then you get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped some new bets. Match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window. I do appreciate everybody's support as always, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.